now that is what I call chaotic, dude.
I was listening this morning to last week's episode that I just posted, and I started to giggle because what we were talking about, and it was us asking the question about what's worse, NASCAR or wrestling, or which is more stupid or more boring. And then immediately after that, we talk about how we watch Love Island, and that's our connection to the Tommy Fury Jake Paul fight that we also didn't watch and we're commentating on. It's like, this is if it's so ridiculous. It's like, all right, which is stupider, WWE or NASCAR? And then we're like, oh, we watch Love Island. Well, that's how we know who Tommy Fury is.
Yeah,
Jake
our
Paul
tastes
fight.
are clearly just don't listen to us. Don't listen to us even a little bit.
It almost completely negates any
opinion we have on anything. Yeah, kind of, a little bit.
If NASCAR,
a little
fans,
bit.
I'm gonna clip it and I'm gonna put it out into the ecosystem of the algorithm, and it's gonna be maybe one of those ones that tick off people enough that it'll actually have some growth to
it. I was watching this past week's episode, and I noticed you had us side by side the whole time, or most of the time, or whatever. And I wish I'd known that, because normally when you're talking, I'm like, oh, the screen's going to be him. So I'm just kind of doing whatever I want. And now I got to like be controlled the whole time.
Well, this is why
be
the side by side.
I like the side by side. Don't get me wrong. I like it better than full screen, or whatever.
So the software that we use, Riverside, after it basically it records on different. It records my video, records your video, and then on separate, basically, I don't even know how to put it. It's like separate.
Okay.
And then when I go to download it, I have to download it, and it basically mashes us up together based on what the audio was. But for some reason, when I did it the typical way, it had drifted your audio and my audio, where like I was way ahead and you were way behind, and then it was terrible audio. So I had to. So when I did it the other way, it was fine. So that's why it's the way it is. And I'm just like,
I like the side by side. I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's something different, but yeah, that's the reason it is the way, because the software I downloaded it 3 times, and it usually takes like 30 to 45 minutes to download these because they're in 1080p, and the audio was just drifted. And I was listening to it. I was like, this is terrible. But yeah, that's why it's the way it is. It's kind of cool. It's definitely different. I
like it, but I feel exposed.
Yeah, because no, it's fine. Hopefully I probably won't really ever do it again unless I have to, but
it's fine. I like it. I think you can mix it up. Is there a way to go from side by side to full screen to side by side? I know that's more editing, but is that a possibility?
Yeah, I would just have to download it side by side and then download it the other way, and then
fix it. That's a lot of work, but
yeah, it's a lot more extra work. The software wouldn't do it for you, but it's nice that Zoom is better at the editing process that it does for you, but they don't have 1080p, which I'm sure this is incredibly entertaining to everyone listening. But yeah, that's what happened with the podcast.
Anyways,
you watched on
YouTube.
Yeah. These are the things that you have to deal with that people do not realize. But yeah, going back to the whole Tommy Fury and all this stuff, not to go back into that conversation,
how bad they are. Yep.
I have so many things. Well, hold on. I'm going to have to actually edit that part out. I just talked about how we don't have to edit anything out, and then I just duff it. I'm going to leave it in and talk about how I just duff what I was going to say. So I'm going to leave it in, not edit it out, and it's there.
Next.
And then we're just showing just how it is to actually podcast. Cole and I have done, I would say, the past like 5 or 6 episodes with just no editing for the most part. Everything's been perfect. And it's just like, this makes it so much easier on me. So these conversations, and we never have to use the bathroom through it. Today I'm probably going to make an espresso through. I'm just going to keep it in. Okay. Back to what I was saying.
Compose yourself here.
I'm going to bring it back in. Okay. I didn't have any pre-workout this morning. The reason I was talking about... The reason I was talking about that is because it's not that we don't enjoy talking about the Jake Paul fight. It's not that we don't enjoy talking about stuff that are relevant, because it definitely helps the algorithm. But the thing that drives me insane, and I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Russell Brand, which that whole episode is it's a good listen to, because if you don't know who Russell Brand is, Russell Brand's a very unique character, and the way he talks is also just like it's very intelligent, I guess is the best way to put it. He's just his verbiage is
intellectual.
Yeah, his verbiage is much better than me saying thing 1,000 times or whatever I do multiple times on the episode. But Rogan was talking about how with his podcast, authenticity is the reason that he's been able to grow. But I feel like now it's almost it's the opposite. Is you almost don't you can't be authentic, like you can't be authentic. Wow, I can't say words today.
Authentic. Oh my god, authentic.
Authentic, yeah. Wow, the other word. You can't be as authentic with what you like and grow maybe as fast as the people that are putting up clickbait or the negative stuff to grow.
Well, I mean, if you think about Joe Rogan on the grand scale, so he was already somewhat famous from Fear Factor. I don't know, when did he start his podcast? Was that the first thing he did? Because I don't think so.
No, he was already.
He was doing Fear Factor. He was doing stand-up. So like he had a name for himself a little bit and then started talking and podcasting. And that's not to take away from what he's done with podcasting in the podcasting world. But, you know, it does. There's a gnat. Sorry. But it does kind of change the dynamic a little bit. Because if you already have a name for yourself, then you're already going to be at some level of a platform. And then the amount of work and energy that he's putting into the podcast. I mean, he's at almost 2,000 episodes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he 3 times a week, and they're 3-hour-long podcast, and the range of topics that they are appeal to a wide range of people.
Yeah.
So therefore you're going to draw in listeners. 1, for the topic, 2, for your personality, and 3, just from people that are curious.
Yeah.
As to what the buzz is, you know?
Yeah. And having famous people will definitely help too. And it's just, I like it, the way they were talking about, again, being authentic, like authentic.
Oh my God, man.
Wow. I'm definitely not the intellectual Russell Brand is with his verbiage. Tongue-tied this morning. But I like the idea of being authentic. And the reason
I agree. Yeah.
Because, and that's kind of what we've definitely become here. I mean, my background right now, I'm slowly starting to grow it now. The whole music thing down here, it's not my doing. I've got a booster box down here that I've allocated. It's going to be my background. You know, it's just like, this is who I am and this is who we are. And we like to talk about stuff that interests us. And it's the same thing that he kind of does. And he's grown that way.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole, I'm going to do the NASCAR thing, right? I'm going to do the NASCAR clip and jokingly put it together. Well, it's going to be funny. It needs to be lighthearted. I'm not trying to like get on anyone's nerves, but I guarantee the retention of something has a kind of a negative concept around it, because we're saying something is dumber than something else, or it has more push, and then like that's frustrating. But it's just kind of how the world is on media now.
Well, I think it's when you have an opinion on something, whether it's negative or positive or whatever, that's going to pique someone's interest, because an opinion means that one side is theoretically worse than the other in your mind, and some people don't think that way. And so I think that's half the reason that people are interested in certain type of videos and they click on certain type of videos, is because they're curious to see what the other person is going to say about the thing that interests them.
Yeah. Well, it's I can't read them off because the YouTube comments on the LeBron video last week. So I posted a LeBron video. We've posted 2 clips. Yeah. The first one was basically we were defending LeBron in the sense of him becoming the all-time leading scorer. We both were like, this is dumb if people were having hate about the way he reacted or whatever.
Yeah.
And then another clip from a different episode, we were talking about his squat. And I very much in the beginning of the video said, this is not directed towards him. It's not taking anything away from him, but it's a learning space in which maybe if you're in a prestigious situation, you always need to not necessarily question the trainer or question what you're doing, but always being conscientious of what's going to be most efficient or effective when it comes to training. Is all I basically said. It's nothing directed towards him, but because he's in a high area, he's an easy, not necessarily target, but he's a good way to talk about a conversation that's like that. And I posted the video. I'm only like 160 views at this point. But the comment section, let's just say no one can see it, because what people were saying to me did not meet the community guidelines of YouTube. And I was like, man, why are people when someone has an opinion and it becomes conflicting, that's your growth. That's where people are going to be commenting, whatever. But those comments, I was just like, man, these people are ruthless.
I mean, that's also just kind of LeBron fans. LeBron fans are intense and don't like anything to be questioned as far as his legacy.
Yeah, it was nothing personal about him at all. And I prefaced that before I said anything.
It's fine. That's just how it works, you know?
I'm going to pull it up right here. Oh, pull that down. Okay. Oh, actually, people have taken down their comments. Let's go in here real quick. So it was up to sit. Yeah. Those people took it away. So I responded. Yep. The other guy, 2 of the people took theirs away. So it was at 6 comments. Wild. So I responded. Basically, what was so
I did see one, and you like gave your credentials because someone was like, "You're just a guy sitting behind a computer," and you're like, "Well, yeah. I own a gym, and this is what I do for a living." So.
Well, I'll read that one. That's the only one that's left. The other ones.
Oh, really?
Okay. When I responded, I did respond in a sense of it was like, do you even lift, bro? You look like you don't even lift weights. Go do CrossFit, do this. And they said some other stuff they shouldn't be saying. And I responded back very nicely. You know, I'm not going to fuel the fire. But this one, the guy said, it's really funny to watch people who sit in front of a computer all day and completely out of shape criticize one of the greatest athletes who lives in the gym. Again, I preface this, it's not directed towards him. And then he commented again on a different comment and says, do you even lift, bro? ? So then my reply, hopefully I own a gym and train thousands of athletes per year. As I say in the video, it's not just to criticize him. It's because he's such a prestigious situation. It can be a learning lesson to always be conscientious of movement. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's the same thing when you get text from people and you just read it the wrong way or you read it the right way. You know what I mean? There's tone behind everything that you're typing and everything that you respond with. I'm not saying you responded wrong by any means, but people will even read into that response.
Right.
And read it as like tone is aggressive or tone is like trying to show me up, you know, like, and so it's and just, it depends you're never going to win, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's, I whenever I respond to something that's negative, because I've had negative comments and other stuff too, when it comes to like, it was like the running polls in softball. That one on Instagram has, I don't know.
It had a lot of comments, I felt like.
Yeah, and there was a guy that just kept going back and forth with me, and I always want to respond because it helps out the algorithm. And if someone's asking a question,
yeah, but like at some point, it's definitely not worth it.
Yeah, well, this guy was being very respectful, so that's also the reason that I was responding to him. Let's see where we're at. So that video is at 16,000 views, and it's only 25 comments. But as far as like the comments go, most people are pretty nice. They agreed, and if they didn't, I would just, or if they asked a question, I would respond. So. But I always try to be as respectful as possible and don't fuel the fire or create the hate. It's just
one of my favorite YouTubers. I watch a lot of Gotham chess, just chess videos. I'm just a nerd. It's fine. One of the things he does on pretty much all of his videos is he does the pin of shame. So he'll find a really angry, rude comment and he'll pin it to the top. It's really goofy.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when it comes to TikTok, just Laura and I'll be watching together and I'll be launching them. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, all right, comment section.
What's going on comment here? Section. I mean, that is such an instant reaction for me. If the video is interesting enough, whether that's funny or stupid or informative, comment section.
Yeah. Because sometimes, I mean, the comment section can hit. I don't know which one.
The comment section can make the video.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the video is not that funny or not that great, and then I open the comments and I'm dying laughing.
Yeah, there was one last night we were watching TikToks, which we don't watch TikToks nearly as much anymore. Maybe it's because I'm working till 8, but the comment section was just hit after hit after hit after hit. I was like, this comment section is just going the distance on how good this is. But yeah,
dude, the gnat is back, dude. Why is it?
We're not editing any of this out.
No
timestamps. No timestamps.
Of course not.
No timestamps. Okay. Going back to Joe Rogan a little bit. I saw a TikTok the other day, and I went down this kind of rabbit hole. There's 3 different videos of this guy debunking some of the stuff that Joe Rogan was saying in the situation of the pyramids and some of the conspiracy theories behind the pyramids. So we're going to go into conspiracy theories. It may not just be the pyramids. We can go into some other ones. Do you have any favorite conspiracy theories?
Honestly, the pyramids is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
Because I kind of genuinely believe it was aliens. I have no facts. I have no knowledge. I just feel like probably right. Probably aliens.
Probably right. There's no way they could have done the human.
What's your favorite one? Do you like follow any? Are you like big on any?
I think the pyramids one is definitely interesting, and I've watched Joe Rogan episodes where Graham Hancock came on with Ancient Apocalypse, which is a Netflix series, which is interesting. I've watched like part of another documentary on it, and then this guy is definitely really cool, and we'll get into this a little more. But I remember in high school, this is a really crazy story. In high school,
you saw an alien?
No, I didn't see an alien.
That would be cool.
I'm going to tell a story. I don't.
All right, there's 2 stories. First one,
alien story. We're going to pin in that. Make sure I tell you the alien story.
Right.
We're getting crazy. Okay. I had a U.S. history teacher, and I went to Manual, and Manual had actually a legitimate 4th floor, but the 4th floor was just one room. You know how the joke is always like, oh, the 4th floor is where the pool is at, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Manual had a legitimate 4th floor, and it was just actually one room. And if you're ever driving past Manual and you live in Louisville, if you see like in the middle of the building, there's like 4 little peaks and whatever, and it looks like a castle. That's actually a room in there. It's really, really cool. Unfortunately, I had a class with a U.S. history teacher. And this guy was ex-military. Some people said he was like ex-CIA. Very, very interesting, unique person. And his last name was Morgan, Mr. Morgan. Some people allegedly, conspiracy-wise on him, thought he was part of the JP Morgan group. It was this whole crazy. He was like a relative. Okay. I don't know. Very interesting guy. Let's just put it this way. Good teacher, definitely ex-military. And for about a week or 2, as we got through the end of the semester, I think I was a junior at the time, he did a whole conspiracy breakdown of the JFK assassination, and it was. I wish I could go back and if he filmed that, I would like go watch this because it was so cool. But the JFK assassination and how it was all plotted.
What?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So
like it's like the conspiracy is real.
Yes, and as him with all that credential, and he broke down the Umbrella Man. I can't remember the specifics of any of it, but I just remember that.
Was there a second shooter?
That was I think that
was there a second shooter?
That's what he was talking about. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, so he was incredibly interesting. I remember another time too. This was when phones, like I still had a flip phone at the time, and I had to wait in his room because I can't remember why. I was like waiting for my parents to pick me up, and I had to wait. And he was really against like phones, and my phone vibrated, and I don't think I had texting. Maybe he was texting at the time or not, but I like went to check it, and this was after school, and he was like, "Were you recording me?" And I was like, "Whoa!" It's like you didn't want to be recorded.
See, but
very interesting.
Now it makes me not want to believe him because I think he's a paranoid, crazy person.
He went on this. He also went on Wheel of Fortune that year. I'm not kidding. He was a contestant.
Dude, and this is a bonkers story. Okay, go ahead.
He went on the Wheel of Fortune and he won. He won Wheel of Fortune, and
that's pretty dope. So you can find him.
Yeah.
So you can find him on TV.
Well, here's the other crazy thing about it. I think this was the year that it was something about either Obama was being elected or something along those lines. If the episode, when they film it, if it doesn't get aired, you don't win your money. And because of something happening with Obama, or whether he was getting, I think he was maybe getting.
So some political thing kicked him off the air.
Yeah, he could have been kicked off where he didn't win. So he couldn't talk about it. He almost didn't have his episode aired, and it ended up getting aired. And then he talked about it, and he actually won Wheel of Fortune. He won the whole thing. Like at the end, he did the wheel, and he actually did it right. Yeah.
So if your episode doesn't air, you don't win any money.
That's right. I think I believe
sad.
That's right.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so that's my story. What was the other one I was going to talk about? Now
aliens. I don't know.
Aliens. Okay, this is my alien story.
Okay.
I actually have two. Not
Dude.
trust me, I'm
Oh
not
my
crazy. I don't.
gosh.
One of them, you'll it makes a ton of sense.
I'm not crazy. He prefaces his story. Come on, dude. Bro,
Here we go. Here we go.
you're so crazy. I know you're about to say some of the craziest things I've ever heard. Go.
You'll
Go.
like it. Okay, here we go. There was I don't remember where Lauren was. She may have been doing something with volleyball, and it was last winter. Kind of, yeah, it was last winter because it was snowy out. I had Kylo out, and we were in our little section that we play in by the Farm Bureau Center or whatever. And when we're playing there, I've got my headphones on. We're doing our thing. Because it's snowed out. It's pretty bright at night. The sky's like everything's pretty bright, but it's dark. It's probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden, I look up in the sky, and there's just tons of lights. I'm like, what? I'm freaking out. There's tons of lights just drifting across the sky, all in like an organized pattern and pair.
All right. So an airplane.
And no, it's not an airplane. Tons of lights. When I say tons, I'm saying like 10, 20, 30, 50. It was tons of lights, all in a pattern flying across the sky. I get my phone out. I'm recording it as this is going. I still have the recording on my phone.
All right.
And I'm
You're
freaking
going to have
out.
to edit that in right here because otherwise you're a crazy person.
Okay, I started the video. I can try to edit it in. I should be able to edit it in. So I'm like, okay, what is happening? I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm like, what? Because there was a ton of lights, and so I end up calling Lauren. I don't think she picked up, and then I call my parents. Well, my parents that night, because of the snowstorm, had lost power, so they're like, I think they were at like a Taco Bell in the parking lot. I know this sounds crazy. These stories are all over the place.
Keep going. This is great. I love it.
I'm like, okay. I was like, you guys look up in the sky. Well, at this point, they'd like disappeared. I'm like, what the heck? So I call my parents, Taco Bell parking lot. They're like, go outside, go look up in the sky. Do you see anything? They don't see anything. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. So I send the video to Lauren. I send the video to my parents. And then I actually send the video to one of my friends. And I don't know what it is. I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know. The next day, wake up, and I like started kind of Googling it, I think. Or no. One of my buddies had responded back to me, and he said, yeah, that was kind of crazy last night, but that was the Starlink satellites getting uplinked.
Tough.
And that's what I saw.
Tough.
But when you didn't know that was even remotely a possibility, and you're in the middle of the night and you see just like tons of lights flying, and it was in the air. It was incredibly bright. They were organized in a pattern, and I saw them for 20, 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. I thought I saw it. That's my one alien story.
That's cool.
One?
I would have believed. For a while.
Yeah. And then the other one was probably just a shooting star or something. But this was another time I had Kylo out, and just a light just goes, but like it was weird looking. That one, I think it was probably a shooting star, but the Starlink one was just like, what the heck? Okay. Do you have any stories?
I've got nothing, dude. I just like believing in this stuff because I think it's fun and goofy.
It is fun. Well, we have talked a little bit about. Well, let's go back to ancient aliens, and then we're just going to keep going with. We're in conspiracies. We're going to stay with it.
Yep.
The pyramids. So this guy breaks down essentially with the pyramids. There's a couple of rocks, stones in the king's chamber that weigh 50 to 80 tons. It's like 0.01% of the total stones of.
So much weight, dude.
Well, there's also 2,300,000 stones in the pyramid. 2 million, and those at 99.9% of those weigh about 2.5 tons. So what is that?
A lot. It's
6,000 pounds. It's really heavy, and the whole conspiracy is, well, how did they create this? It's all in line and perfect, whatever, and blah blah blah. But some of the stuff he was debunking was they found a ship. And I don't know how much this could actually be true, but they found a ship, and he showed a picture of the ship that was near the pyramids that was fully intact. It was 142 feet long, and they said it had the buoyancy capacity to carry these stones. I don't know how much a freighter of a truck does because the Nile River's right there. They went up the Nile.
Yeah.
I don't know how much but that's, that much weight on a little wooden boat.
I don't know, man. I'm always interested in how they got those huge stones up that high, because people talk about the ramps and stuff. They talk about like the techniques they would have used to do that, and also the fact, like, how long did it take them to do this?
Yep, I will show you some of the
Because
screenshots.
I feel like they couldn't get this done in 10 years or 20 years or whatever it was, but maybe it was hundreds of years, and I'm just underestimating.
Yeah, well, I think some people romanticize about having these conspiracy theories, and that's kind of what he talks about. This guy talks about, and I'll
I
actually
definitely do. I definitely do that too, because I just
Yeah.
want to hold on to something that's insane sounding instead of just boring. Yeah, they were able to do it like this. That's no
And
fun.
if you're interested, I'll put this guy's TikTok on in the description on the YouTube, and I'm going to show Cole a couple of the pictures. I screenshotted some of them. So this is what the boat looks like. That they said was fully intact, 142 long, and has the buoyancy calculations that it could have carried that stuff up the Nile. So here's the picture. Sorry if you're just listening.
142 feet long.
Is that blurry or is it
okay?
focused?
I mean, it's fine. It's good enough. I get it.
Okay, so you got that, and then here is what is believed how the ramps could have actually been built. Instead of it being one long ramp that went up to it, think about this, and you're going to see this, and you're going to be like, that actually makes potential sense. Zoom in here. Going around the pyramid with the ramps, and then different.
Yeah, but I heard that like the incline that the ramp would need to be at in order to lift this type of weight is so not steep. So what's the other word? What's the word for if steep is steep? Then what is the other word?
What is not steep? Incline. Steep incline?
No. Incline. Incline is like the angle, and then steep is one type of angle, and then what's the opposite of steep?
That's what I'm Googling.
Dude,
I've
said steep so much it doesn't even sound like a word.
Opposite what? Of
whatever.
Slope, angle.
Not
ascent?
Steep. That's what we're going to use. Not steep.
Okay.
So I've heard it has to be so shallow. Shallow. That's the word I'm looking for. The angle has to be so shallow, that the ramp would be huge.
Yeah,
like I've heard miles long.
But then it's also they're like, oh, they use sand and water, and then it made the friction a little bit lessened, or these pulley systems, whatever it is. I think it's fun to romanticize about crazy nonsense.
I agree. Why would they work that hard? Okay, these pyramids were built on slave labor, correct? Theoretically,
I believe so. Yes, we're the experts.
Why would they work that hard to make it easy for them? They already didn't like them. They made them slaves. Why would they figure out how to make it easy for
them? So they can get it done.
I guess.
Well, guess what?
I still think aliens did it.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Never truly know.
Yeah. Aliens did it. The alien conversation is always so much fun. It's just like the balloons. You heard about all the balloon stuff that happened like a month ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That whole thing is crazy.
That's weird. I don't really get it either. I don't get it. I don't I get it, but I don't. But I get it, but I don't. That's where I'm at.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I'm gonna actually.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now?
I couldn't decide. I need to message him. I'm not going to put anything on his stuff here, but I have an athlete. I want to message him because I have a couple ideas. And this is like going to fitness, by the way. We're at the end of the episode. It's fitness time.
That's right, dude. You know what's coming up? You know what's coming up? Spring break.
It is coming up. I actually get some days off. Spring break's in like 3 weeks. I'm going to take some time off, and actually not time off really, but I've got projects to work on. Merch store. There's going to be a podcast shirt, by the way. It's going to be really cool.
Really?
One of my main jobs as a coach is to teach athletes to enjoy training. Like that's like what I should be doing is teaching them how to work out. I said this in the last episode. I'm basically trying to get rid of me as a coach and teach them as much as they can so they can do it for the rest of their lives and enjoy training. That's what I should be doing, even though the speed and stuff is there as well. I have an athlete that I started training him, I don't know, probably when he was 9 or 10 in a group of his friends. And he's really he's really into training right now. Like he's really into it. I guess he's a junior in high school now, and he started a TikTok where he's posting some videos of him deadlifting and benching, and he's hitting really impressive numbers. And I'll have to make sure before I say his name or anything like that on the podcast he's cool with it. But one of the videos that he posted, he did pop up. He did his great video, and he did a really good job of following it up as well. And I'm gonna tell him to listen to this part of the episode. He was, I don't know, he's like a little over 1,000 followers, putting up a bunch of videos, just getting good retention of him doing workouts. And he's obviously really into training and kind of that atmosphere or that community. And he went to the Arnold Classic, I guess, like last weekend. And he went with one of his friends, and one of his friends, it was his birthday. And I don't know if you know, do you know who Chris Bumstead is?
Nope.
No. So Chris Bumstead, I think he's a 4-time winner of one of the bodybuilding competitions. I don't want to say what it is because I'll probably get it wrong, but he's very popular on TikTok, very famous, has a great personality. The dude is jacked. He looks like he's made out of stone when he's in top shape, and he's just a really cool guy and is super nice and pretty popular on TikTok. Well, with one of the kids that he went with, his mom basically had her phone, and she kind of, I guess she didn't actually stepped in front of Chris Bumstead, but she ran into him. And a lot of people take pictures with people anyways. And she's like filming, and one of the security guys is like, "Oh, no." And then Chris was like, "No, it's okay. What's up?" And she's like, "It's my son's Jacob's birthday today. Can you say happy birthday to him?" And then Chris Bumstead responds with a blah, 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 wish he could be here or something like that. And it's like, "Happy birthday, Jacob." And that video, I think at this point has like 7 million views, and I'm going to look it up specifically.
Nice.
And I think the athlete I'm talking about, I think he's up to, like, from that one video, and he had a couple of follow-up videos that did well. He did a good job of following up with just kind of running that wave. He's at 17.1K followers. Nice. So that was like a 17K boost. That video has 9.7 million views with 1.8 million likes and 3,274 comments. And it's just like, that's impressive. And then just that's the power of
I don't really know the guy. I don't know the famous guy, but I guess a lot of people do. And probably the fact that, like, it was his mom getting a video of it. That's something that's kind of goofy and kind of sweet, though, you know?
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing about it, too. It's like, the kid that I'm talking about didn't even film the video. It was the friend's mom. And then she was like, "All right, here's the video." And then he posted it. So not saying he didn't put any effort into posting the video or thinking up or building his TikTok, but it's just like, so basically what we need to do, Cole, is we're going to go find
You want to meet a famous person?
Let's go find Chris Bumstead.
If you could meet any famous person right now, who would it be?
It's a great question and a great segue into something that's different from me ranting on this conversation. So, but yes, to that athlete, I'll say his first name, Christian. Well done, son. We're going to do some other videos together. I've got some ideas. I have old video footage of you that you can turn into videos of you blowing up. I got you covered. I'll get you. Yes. Okay. I'll say his first name. It's okay. And if you're listening without me telling you that you're listening, let me know as well. Famous person I would like to meet now. Someone that's like living, correct?
Yeah, right now. Like if you had the opportunity to meet them, and this is not sit down and talk to them. This is literally just, hi, big fan, picture, photo, or whatever.
I'm gonna be honest. I really wouldn't care if I didn't get actually to talk to him because it just does nothing for me. I know, and that sounds weird. It's like, I would like if it's like
because now who you're gonna say you just insulted because you don't want to talk to them.
I'm not gonna say anyone because I wouldn't. And they don't have anyone.
Oh,
Kylo! Look at that stretch.
Wow.
Bye, buddy. And down.
Nobody? I mean, that's kind of lame.
Okay. Well, do you have someone you would like to take a picture with and meet?
I didn't think about this. Wow. This is bad.
See,
yeah, okay. I know. It's very hypocritical.
Fine. It's a good question.
It's very hypocritical, but probably like an athlete. So probably like Donovan Mitchell. I'd love to say hi to him and tell him how much I think he's incredible.
Sorry.
This is a shout out.
Okay. Let's say you're meeting him right now. You say you're meeting him right now and he shook your hand. Would you say that to his face? Would you be like, "Hey, what's up? My name's Cole. I think you're incredible." Is that what you say?
I'd probably say, "I think you're the best basketball player of all time."
It's a bold statement.
Yeah,
no. You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I'd say you're my favorite basketball player. And then that's probably it. Big fan.
What if we just
Or
what if we,
I'd talk about Louisville or something like that.
what if we just set up an entire podcast episode where the whole purpose of the podcast episode is we have some topics to talk about, but the entire time we're just trying to create clips that are going to pop off. So we say something controversial or just completely ludicrous, like what you just said. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
He's the greatest basketball player. Yeah, just, that's the whole episode is we're just trying to.
Let's see.
Create the clip. Okay, let's flip it to. I'll give you an answer to. I know it sounds so terrible. I don't care to take a picture or meet someone. I would really have a conversation with it. I think there's just more, for me, it's more value in having a conversation with someone.
Okay, so you'd rather talk to them?
Yes.
Okay. All right, fine. Who would you sit down and have dinner with if you had the opportunity?
Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have an answer for that one.
Really?
Yep, Neil. I have several.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that. It's just, I feel like he would just talk about things that are way over my head for an hour.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's see here. David Sinclair. I think Lex Friedman would be fun too, because he kind of just like, that's what he does is interviewed. I think Lex Friedman would be a lot of fun. There's so many podcasts that I'd romanticize of being on. And then I think about it as like, if I was actually on that podcast being interviewed, I feel like I would just seem so nervous the entire time because, you know, we do this every week. It's just a different platform.
It's different. Yeah. It's a different realm, especially when you listen to those people every week. You're basically a fan. So you'd be a fan going on there, which sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't work, you know?
Yeah.
But I've always dreamed, you know, when famous people talk about their interactions with people and how sometimes they complain and then sometimes they don't complain. I've always dreamed of being that person that they interact with, that they enjoyed interacting with. Have you ever thought about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they talk about annoying fans and how like they're just kind of rude sometimes, or they're not very aware of how they're coming across to the celebrity or whatever. And then they talk about how they would like to be reacted to. I think about and want to be the good fan that isn't like weird and whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's there's, like you said, like the podcast you're a fan of, and it almost makes, because you get into their lives, so you listen to them so much, because I listen to probably about the same. I have 5 podcasts that I listen to that are like religious every single week. I listen to it. And then I have a couple of like off ones that I'll sometimes kind of listen to. And I know a lot about those people, but then it makes you feel like you know them. And if you met them in person, you know so much more about them, but you're just a random person, you know?
Oh, that's the parasocial relationship. That's like a huge kind of issue in especially streaming community and also kind of just general media community is fans that think they know these people, but they really don't, you know?
Yeah. Well, who was your person? Who would you have a conversation with then?
Like for an hour, just like a sit down.
Just like, it's like a dinner, just like hanging out, whatever. Just,
I mean, off the top of my head, the first person that came to mind was Cody Ko.
That would be a lot. That would be a lot of fun.
Cody and Noel would be crazy. Because honestly, I would just like to, I don't know, talk about like just their life, like what they do off the camera, you know? Yeah. And I know they talk about it, but I feel like they would have some crazy stories and just like, yeah, I think that'd be super interesting.
Yeah.
That's just the first name that popped up.
I have so many, when you said that, and Mr. Beast would be so much fun too.
That
Mr.
would
Beast,
be crazy.
You know, I mean, Joe Rogan's kind of an easy grab because he has so many conversations that he's had with people and interesting. He'd be fun. I'm trying to think of someone that would be a little bit, obviously I'm throwing a lot of intellectuals. I don't know, like sports wise, who I'd want to, I mean, Michael Jordan, could you imagine? But I feel like if you talk to Michael Jordan, he'd be like, all right, you peasant, what are we talking about?
Well,
why am I here?
Yeah, but I'm saying like if both parties wanted to sit down and talk.
Okay.
So it's not like oh, I'm with a fan, I have to talk to them. But like if in an ideal world where you sit down and both people want to talk to each other, you know?
Yeah. Michael Jordan would be so much fun. Michael Jordan. That would be like a definite athlete for me. I don't know about, I mean, Messi would be cool too. Obviously we're picking pretty famous people. I was trying to pick less famous. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Cox. I like a lot of,
I would pick some actors too.
Okay.
Yeah. I would pick Jeremy Strong, Brian Cox. I would pick Um, oh my God, Sean. Oh my God, I feel so bad that I'm forgetting his
Sam?
name right
Talking
now.
about Sam from Lord of the Rings?
No.
Can I talk
James
to
Rode.
Frodo?
I'm so stupid. James
I don't know
Rode.
these. I don't know these
James
people.
Rode
Hold on.
is okay. James Rode is the lead actor in Psych. Was my favorite TV show before Succession came over. Succession. Jeremy Strong is sort of the lead. Brian Cox is, or not Brian Cox. Oh my gosh, I'm really
No, you're right. It's Brian Cox. That's the Scottish actor from
okay. Thank God.
But he's also the same name of the guy that I
Yeah,
was talking about.
I
He's a
know.
theoretical physicist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Brian Cox would be crazy to talk to. But yeah.
What about Tom Cruise? I'm gonna talk to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but like the Scientology thing makes me feel like he's a crazy person. You know,
Ian McKellen. That'd be pretty fun.
that
Ian
would be fun.
McKellen. Ray
Musicians.
Fiennes.
Oh, musicians. I would talk to like Jacob Collier. I would talk to. I guess that's kind of it. Well,
English jazz musician. Jacob Collier.
Jacob Collier is crazy, dude.
Who's the guy, the redheaded guy that has a lot of popular songs out?
Ed Sheeran. Stop.
Okay, hold on. I have a story.
Stop.
I know you're not. Okay. Ed
Stop.
Sheeran. This video is going to make you. I'm going to send you the video after this. There was a guy, and when he was telling the story, I don't know what relation he has to Ed Sheeran whatsoever, but I saw this. He's sitting like crisscross applesauce with the microphone telling a story with like this crazy looking button down, and just he's wearing, what is the little Togoshi
lapel mic? Oh
no. He's wearing like one of the little like video games. You know what I'm talking about? The
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
He's
wearing that as a necklace. Okay.
Okay.
And he's telling a story about Ed Sheeran. So this is the preface to this story. My storytelling today has been all over the map of these ridiculous, and it seems like I'm telling a lie because they're so insane. What is the thing what is the game?
Tamagotchi, I think is.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. Yes. So he was wearing one of those as a necklace. Okay. So this is this guy telling a story, and he's telling a story about Ed Sheeran. And Ed Sheeran, I believe what I've seen when he does his stadium tours and he's doing his show, he basically is a one-man show. He gets on there,
that's all of his music, dude.
He loops it and he's playing like instruments, does this and builds it up, and he does like a one-man show. And apparently before he went on stage doing a stadium, and essentially while doing a stadium, he was doing all of the stuff at the same time. He asked him a question about a song before that, and then he just goes up on stage and comes back. And apparently Ed Sheeran, as he was doing that, came back with a response or answer to what the song should have in it. So not only was he doing this crazy stadium where he's every musician of the songs that he's doing, but he's also thinking about other stuff at the same time and having response to a question that he asked about a song beforehand. And the guy was like, I'm so mind blown. This guy's insane. So there's your Ed Sheeran story that I'm sure you love. I'm going to send that video to you.
Dude, I'm not a fan of him. I don't know.
Why aren't you a fan, Cole?
It's just...
Sometimes you're just not fans of people because you're just not fans, right?
Well, no, I think his music is just, it's corny. It's catchy, but it's corny and it's a little, I don't know. It's just boring, man. Feels uninspired. I'm not saying everything has to be like this crazy song. I love songs that are about the goofiest stuff. Like one of the songs I recently liked was a Dev Lemons song. Have you ever heard of Dev Lemons?
No, my musical, I am a lemon.
Dev Lemons is great. But
sorry, I'm
the one song, you're fine. We're both on our phones right now. This is great. Her song that I recently liked is a song called Ghosted My Dentist. Ghosted My Dentist. And it's just about exactly that, ghosting your dentist. And I think it was so goofy, and I really like it.
Okay.
So songwriting doesn't have to be that deep, but it's still got to be good.
Here you go. This is the picture. This is the guy telling the story, which is it's just interesting. Let's just put it that way. So he's just sitting there. Yep, there we go. Let's focus. And he's wearing the fact that he's wearing that game, and he's telling a guy comes. Yeah.
Was that Benny Blanco?
It probably is someone. I feel like it has to be. Yeah, it is Benny Blanco. You are correct. Who is Benny Blanco?
He's a famous producer.
Okay. So that's why they were talking about the song beforehand.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's wearing a video game around his neck is hilarious.
He's a songwriter, producer. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but
I like his shirt's actually pretty cool. But yeah, Ed Sheeran. All right.
that's it. Ed Sheeran, not great.
We're out.